see you here this lunchtime. We are the Phantasy Trio, Gregory Drott on piano, Peter Mallison viola, and myself, Rosemary Taylor, on the clarinet. So we've just performed Beethoven's Trio. It's quite an early work by Beethoven, and in fact it's the kind of basis for this whole programme. We're sort of looking at the last decade, really, just over, of the 18th century in Vienna. And that's obviously where Mozart was. Mozart finished his last years there, and he wrote this next piece we're going to hear, the Kegelstatt Trio there, in 1786. And he was inspired to do so by these wonderful new wooded wind instruments that were kind of all the rage of the day. They sort of had just come up, particularly the clarinet had only been around for maybe 20, 30 years or so. It was a very new instrument. And so he was really exploiting that. It was the sort of exciting thing of the day. And he wrote this Kegelstatt Trio, sort of supposedly in Kegelstatt, a bowling alley, a skittle alley. So it's very much a piece of music inspired by what was around him. And then the young Beethoven, who knew all about this Mozart, he was, sort of idolised him, wanted to go study with Mozart. So he made the trip to Vienna to do so. And he arrived in Vienna in 1792 and had wanted to study with Mozart, who unfortunately had passed away a little before then. But the lovely Haydn was there, so Beethoven started studying with Haydn in Vienna. And he was very much thought of by all those around him as sort of Mozart's spirit living on. And Beethoven himself was equally inspired by these wind instruments, the novelty they provided, the sound world that they could make, the characterizations. And his trio was written in 1797 following that. And it's rather a wonderful piece, all sorts of lovely characters in there, and particularly the third movement that you just heard is based on a lovely sort of folk tune of the day, known as a kind of a street hit. It was a song that you could hear singing in all the corners of Vienna, and that's what that last theme was. And the words are something along the lines of, "Before I go to work, I must have my croissants." So the genius Beethoven took this wonderful little phrase and turned it into something quite remarkable. So now we shall play you Mozart's Kegelstatt Trio in E-flat major.